Hello, so last time we looked at the RG-99 and how it performed, and the answer was pretty bad, but since then I've did a few improvements as well as new ports. So let me show you first EasyRPG, which wasn't working properly last time because of a mistake that I did, but yeah, let me show you EasyRPG working properly now. Alright, so as you can hear from the sound effects, they don't sound properly, and that's because there is no resampler. And unfortunately, the resampler has a high CPU performance cost, and so does the MIDI player actually. And unfortunately, I couldn't find like a MIDI player that's light on CPU performance, and I could also not find a resampler that was light on performance, so this was a bit of an issue. Now if you actually build an EasyRPG without any kind of audio support at all, this is actually much faster. But yeah, and the loading times can be quite excessive as well, as you now, if this bothers you and you really want to play RPG Maker games on the RG-99, you can manually convert down the wave files to 11 Hz or so, and this will sort of fix the issue with the sound effects not sounding properly, and this will also help with memory usage because of the reduced file size, so you don't have to load as much in memory. But yeah, unfortunately you will have to do that on a PC, so because I really can't really do that kind of thing on the RG-99 itself, it will take way too long. But yeah, aside from that, it works fine. Now, of course, if you try to load a really huge game, you may have a problem, but for now, this should be okay. So yeah, just don't do anything crazy on it. But now, let me show you, what the LDK can do. So, EasyRPG again, but this time it has a resampler, and even with that, it already runs much faster. I do have to say though, this is running on OpenDingux, not retro firmware, and the reason why is because retro firmware forces the bit depth to be 16-bit, and that's an issue for EasyRPG because EasyRPG requires 32 bpp, not 16. Otherwise, it will simply just crash and leak memory like crazy, and also be slower. So, unfortunate. And it has been leaking memory in 16 bpp mode for quite some time now. So unfortunately, I have not been able to find a fix for the memory leaks for 16 bpp. So that's a shame. And so yeah, so that runs fine on there, and you should be able to load bigger games on it as well. But that's not all about EasyRPG. So I also ported Falling Time. Now this is the SDL1 version of it, because the recent source code that's out there uses SDL2, But before that, they also used SDL1 temporarily to develop the game, and then they switched to SDL2. But as you can see, it runs fine, and there's even multiplayer. So, wow, local multiplayer. Alright, so that runs okay. Alright, so now you saw these last time, so Cannonball, Easy Wolf, and Endcrafty, but unfortunately they do not work right. So Cannonball doesn't work at all. Easy Wolf just runs way too slowly. Hebrace requires too much memory, and so it crashes. And Endcrafty, for some odd reasons, crashes as well. So, and this is not a memory issue for Endcrafty, by the way, because it does run on the Sega Dreamcast. So yeah. Now let's take a look at the WonderSwan emulator. Now this is based upon the older version of it, so it's less accurate and it also doesn't sound right. And unfortunately, I have not been able to find a fix for the audio code, but we'll have to do with it for now. So let's play some Dragon Ball. And this is based upon the RS-90 version that I have released a while back. And there are a few improvements as well. So for example, you can go to the menu and map to whatever you want. So left is for horizontal mode and right is for vertical mode, and it will automatically switch to that depending on whether or not the game requires vertical mode or not. And you can also save. Oops, I didn't meant to do that. But let's try a vertical game. I believe I should have one. Yes, Judgment Silver Sword. And it doesn't, it's very slow, unfortunately. And the reason why it's slower is because it has to rotate the buffer, and that's quite expensive CPU wise. And that's the same thing for full screen as well. But if you run the game in landscape mode, it will run okay. And it was overclocked, so unfortunately there's no way around it if you want to play a vertical game on it. Let's go back to Dragon Ball and put it on full screen. But yeah, the pitch is higher than it should be. It should normally it should sound like a lower pitch than it does right now. But you know, this was a compromise that I had to make, because otherwise it would sound, well, it will skip a lot, and I couldn't find a fix for that. But yeah, there's also keep aspect. and native, and that's it for now. Maybe I'll add an option to disable the rotating mode for Judgment Silver Sword, so you can play like the game in vertical like that, but that's quite uncomfortable to play, to be honest. But now let me show you Picodrive, and we will play. Oh shit. Well, that doesn't matter. We'll just select a game like Doom. Now, I reprofiled Picodrive to see if it would improve performance, and for 32x games, as I expected, it doesn't do much, like at all. So yeah, if you look at this ring counter, now maybe there was a small difference, but not a whole lot. Yeah, it's 10, 15, not a lot. But if we take a look at Panorama Cotton, on that game, I immediately noticed improvement in speed. Now, this game requires accurate, otherwise it won't work. There we go. Let's try 8-bit accurate to see if it still runs. It does, but it's not much faster. Well, it is still running faster than last time, because before I would get like frame rates in the 20s. Now I would get above 30 at least. Well, most of the time. So that was Cotton. Let's try Wolfenstein 3D. But I believe it was already running full speed anyway. Yeah, it was already, so not a big deal. So that's it for Picodrive. And yeah, that's all right. I forgot. So this is the video player, which is ROQ, and this is a format that was used for Quake 3, and it's pretty fast for decoding, but it's really slow for encoding the video because it is like a vector-based format. So let's play the 8-bit guy. So yeah, if you are patient to encode the video in ROG format, now you can. but it's really basic, so you can't really fast forward or go backwards or whatever. So all you can do is just exit, and that's it. And that's all I wanted to show you. So it's still pretty bad, but at least I've done a few fixes to hopefully improve the performance, not just, but the experience as well. And I believe maybe a few other people will port things to it as well. For example, there is a port of Dango Commander, and it's quite useful, and I use it sometimes. And there is also the GBA emulator, which should work on the RG-99 as well. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Now there's my Master System emulator, but unfortunately there's a weird issue with the IPU, well, whatever it is.